Ah, yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special Slam Show interview. Very impromptu because I got a call from this incredible gentleman here yesterday and said, hey, I'm going to be in town and I want to come on the program. And guess what? I was able to move some stuff together and have this work out real nice. And yeah, I'm so happy to have their presence here. And first off, I'd like to introduce right off the bat, Dante Basco in the house.
What's up, you guys? How you guys doing? So excited to be here, Sam. Yeah. Pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out of the show and talking to me and the family in the house about our new project, the Fabulous Filipino Brothers, and we're excited to be in Vegas right now.
Exactly. Talk about how everything's played out so far as far as your tour is concerned and the places you've gone to, and what made Vegas that destination to end up being.
No doubt. Me and the family have been on tour for like the last week and a half or so. It's been a whole process with the whole film. A lot of people have been hearing about us doing this film. We finished shooting before COVID. We ended up premiering at South by Southwest Film Festival, which was a really big experience and a really big win for us and for the whole community for having a Filipino film premiere at their festival, which is one of the biggest festivals in the world. And then we got picked up by 1091 Pictures, which is an amazing company out here in the States. Originally, the film got produced out of the Philippines with Signal Entertainment, so shout out to Signal Entertainment. And so once we got the, we got the film sold, we decided that we're gonna go on a tour and promote the film, especially towards the Filipino communities around the country. And so we've been hitting San Francisco, opened up in San Francisco, sold out shows, Sacramento, Portland, Tacoma, Seattle, Vancouver. Now we're here in Las Vegas. Of course, Las Vegas is a big epicenter. Over the last few years, a lot of Filipinos have migrated to Las Vegas, including my family. I mean, me and Sam are from the same hometown of Pittsburgh, California. So Sam ended up moving out here. My cousin Jared DeLohan, shout out to Jared DeLohan.
That's right, Jared.
And so, of course, we wanted to screen the film out here and have the Filipinos in the Las Vegas area to be among the first people in North America to see the film. And so we can share the film with the community out here is really special for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you didn't come solo. You came with the family. So let's go ahead and switch over to them, and you could go ahead and do the introductions.
Yo, my brother's in the house, Dionisio Basco, my brother Darion Basco, and my sister Arianna Basco in the house, who are all in the film and co-wrote the film with me. Yes. Hand claps, hand claps.
Exactly. So we're totally live, so we're going to have interaction in the chat room. And ladies and gentlemen out there, our viewers, feel free to say anything in the chat. Please make sure it's in polite and
little
good
politeness.
Yeah, a little politeness, and we'll go ahead and acknowledge you. We got Malia in the house.
Shout out to Malia.
That's my girl.
What's up, Malia? How you doing?
So Vera over in Canada.
Yo, shout out to Val Franco. We were just in Vancouver. We just screened in Vancouver. We may make it to Toronto. We don't know yet. With everything with the COVID stuff, we're just it's day to day. A lot of people are asking to like line the whole tour, but the reality is we teamed up with Regal Cinemas. So shout out to Regal Cinemas who picked us up for a release. The film may be in your neighborhood right now, playing on a limited screening release, and then if so, we might be able to go out there and do an in-person screening. But as of right now, it's kind of like a day-to-day situation with the whole all the stuff going on with COVID.
Exactly. Those restrictions kind of make it difficult, but despite that, you guys are going to go full-fledged with the tour to make sure everyone knows about this incredible passion project that you guys put together. So where do we start, man? This is incredible. Let's talk about, Dante, how the concepts came about with the movie, and why was it made, and why did you want to make it like now versus like a little bit later when you guys have a better film portfolio? Is it because the times that we have? Talk about that.
Yeah, well, the reality is me and my whole family, we've all been in the industry for over 35 years now. We left Pittsburgh, Sam, 35 years ago. That's right. Which is crazy.
That's right. And I remember you guys were doing the whole Street Freaks dancing
Street Freaks. Shout out to Street Freaks.
Yes. Manny Gavino in the house.
Manny G in the house. Shout out to Manny G and Jared DeLohan.
And Jared.
Yeah, all Street Freak members from back in the day with the fam. And so just this whole Hollywood world, man, has been a process. And as you know, you're in the entertainment field, and we've been doing it for many years. And me personally, I went from break dancer to actor, from actor to poet, starting the Poetry Lounge. For people that in the poetry scene know that I started. The founder of one of the biggest poetry venue in the country. That poetry writing turned into me writing plays and becoming a playwright. That turned into me becoming a screenplay writer and writing movies and then producing movies, and then led up to me now directing my first film, The Fabulous Filipino Brothers. Now, as far
And also
as
an
now,
author.
I also wrote a book in the middle. Yeah, I'm also an author. I know this is a crazy industry. I feel very fortunate that it has given me a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things and put a lot of different things on a business card. You know what I'm saying, Sam?
Well,
a lot of hyphens going on.
Well, I have a lot of hyphens too, being a DJ, remixer, producer, podcaster.
There you go. I'm a podcaster now too.
Oh, there you go.
We're Filipino. You know what I'm saying? Filipinos have a gang of jobs, and we just keep it rocking. So as far as now, we were able to actually shoot this before COVID, and we, like I said, we got it funded out of the Philippines. Me and my producing partner, Ron Erickson, who's in the house somewhere, we went back and forth to the Philippines like 14 times, setting this film up and some future projects up. And we fortunately got to shoot this right before COVID hit. So COVID hit, and then we ended up editing through COVID, and then got picked up at South by. And we've been running. It's really exciting, the response that we've gotten so far from the film.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and roll over to the siblings. And who wants to touch on the film effort first? You guys kind of tussle on that.
True story. It's a fictional movie, but it is inspired by real events.
There you go. It's just loosely based.
Loosely based. Yeah, let's not get nobody in trouble.
Now let's talk. You mentioned Kaji Kembo. Was this over at the Philam, or was it one of the brick and mortar places?
No, it was at the Philam. Uncle Willie Gusamat.
Oh, how's he doing?
He's a tank. Don't mess with Uncle Willie.
He hasn't changed.
He's still breaking bricks with his head. He's still breaking bricks with his head.
He's in the movie too. He got a little cameo.
Yeah, they're all in there.
I miss Uncle Willie.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him in a minute.
We were the Little Brown Dragons.
We're the Little Brown Dragons.
Brown
Dragons. That's what we were called. And then when we had a rap band in L.A. in the 90s, we were the Fly Brown Dragons. We took the Little Brown Dragons, but then we became Fly. We're the Fly Brown Dragons. But also, the Gusamats are Darion's godbrother. So Uncle Willie's brother, Uncle Don, is Dar's Nino.
Crazy. Everyone's connected. And with the Valenzuelas as well. Steve and...
for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
My teacher, Mr.
Uncle Oliver was came to the screening in Sacramento. Uncle Oliver Valenzuela.
Yeah.
Uncle Joe Valenzuela.
It was crazy.
They're all there.
That time in Pittsburgh, that's what when we grew up, we thought Filipinos ruled the world. I mean, Uncle Joe de Torres was he was
the mayor.
He was the mayor.
Yeah. You want to hear?
Pablo was the fireman. Then Uncle Don Guzman, my godfather, was with the. I mean, we just thought we ruled. It was normal.
Dude, you want to hear something? You want to hear something crazy? I took out Mindy DeTorres to my junior prom.
No, you
didn't.
I
was
Mindy was a cutie. That's Ariana's god sister.
Ariana's
Uncle Joe and Auntie Terry.
Oh my gosh.
Ariana's godparents. That's his Nino's.
This is all insane. I can't believe this. Is mind blowing.
Shout out to me. Matter of fact, well, I don't want to give away stuff in the film, but Chris DeTorres worked on the film with us.
Yes.
Yeah. I hit him up earlier and I sent him the flyer.
He was a special consultant.
He was a special consultant for us on a special scene. So shout out to the Tauruses, our family, like our cousins. So shout out to the Tauruses.
Amazing connections. So let's have Dion get on the mic. Share your thoughts on the film and everything that came about.
No, it's great. I mean, I'll just talk about the tour too right now. Like, it's been amazing bringing this film to the community. You know, I mean, we're artists and we've been actors and for so long, and you know, you just kind of keep doing what you do. Do you know what I'm saying? In this industry, you can't be just rest on your laurels. You just gotta keep producing content and everything, and we're just trying to make something so personal to us and a story that we want to tell. And we go take it on the road, and people are emotional all the time, just thanking us for being able to finally see themselves on screen. You know what I mean? And a whole community and their whole family on screen. I mean, there's tears at every Q&A, which is crazy, and it's emotional for us going through it too, because you know, art and this is a cathartic experience. So we're all going through something together, and I mean, it amazes me how much it touches, you know, the community, and people are like, yo, this is my new favorite film. My new favorite film, from kids to older adult, the titos and titas. They're multi-generational. It's for us. It's for us as a community. You know what I mean? And by no means is it the quintessential Filipino American movie, and we set out to do it. We just really set out to make something very personal for us, and because we did that so much, everybody else feels like it's personally made for them too, which is amazing.
And when we say everybody else, it's not just. What's amazing about this film, what we found is that it's not just Filipinos. It's other cultures and other folks of all different colors and backgrounds can find themselves and their families in our story,
really
which is the goal.
Yeah.
Which is the goal. I mean, this is a film. We want it to be accessible
Family's
to.
universal. Love is universal. I mean, these things are universal themes that we're working with. And if we say it truthfully, it does resonate throughout all races and all ages, which is a wonderful thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you hit it right on the nail as far as many of the tropes are just culturally wide in terms of being for everyone. And obviously there are certain I wouldn't say stereotypes, but only Filipinos would get.
There's some real detail, some Filipino details.
Filipino audience, I mean, they get every little joke. It's different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right off that first scene, I don't want to spoil it, but when you mention about church,
no spoilers, no spoilers. Yeah.
That
For
right
sure.
there, it already transcends into okay, this is where we're going with this, and I think it's a fabulous start to the movie.
It's fascinating. I say it's fascinating seeing the movie with the community, but it's also fascinating seeing the movie because as we've been going, we've been really screening the movie where there's a big Filipino audience. So there's always a big Filipino audience coming to see the film together, and so it's really fascinating to see how different Filipino audiences around the country respond because everyone takes it, in their own way. But
we're all was real hype, but the Bay
got the Bay was crazy
because there's an East Bay. The Bay was hype because
of course
for the East Bay, but everywhere is different. And the other thing that's interesting too is from a grandma, like a Lola who's just a Lola. She reacts really emotional to a straight up G, like, yo, this it's not cheesy at all. This is us, homie. This is us. Like it has that effect. Like it's been really touching to see that.
We were worried to a degree, not worried, but when there's a lot of elder Filipinos that come out to see the film, which is great, and thank you all the titos and titas coming out, braving the elements. I know it's a really dangerous time.
I don't mean to cut you off, but Manny is in the chat.
Oh, shout out to Manny G. Shout out to Manny G, the cousin.
What's
Manny
up,
G's in the house.
Manny?
Manny's in the movie. I see people shouting out the cousin Gabe Basco too.
What's up,
G's in the
baby?
movie too. But
got his music in there too.
with the elders coming to see the film, and they talk about it too, is like at different times you're like, are you worried about what the elders are going to feel about the movie? And I talked to some of the elder generation, the Monongs, and we're just at a time of filmmaking right now where, we're as Asian Americans, we are at the highest profile we've ever been in the history of Hollywood right now.
Correct.
And it's led to things like Crazy Rich Asians. It's led to things like Parasite winning the Oscar, Squid Games being the biggest TV show in the world. It's an amazing time. And so we're at a time where a lot of more projects are coming out, films, not just ours. Joe Coy's film Easter Sunday is coming out for Filipinos, but it's Lumpia 2 with a Vengeance. Shout out to Patricio. And so any filmmaker, any artist doesn't have to feel like they hold the whole community on their shoulders, and we have to put out these perfect images of our culture in order to represent. Like, we can show flawed people, flawed characters, real stories, and it really kind of changes the dynamic of how we see ourselves and even how other communities see us, and not trying to be like we're the most perfect, model minority here in America doing our thing. We're at a different time of filmmaking where we can actually just be us and let that stand on its own.
I agree. Gotta do applause for that.
There you go.
Well done, Dante.
Damn, I like the applause up in here.
Throughout our whole lives, growing up in this country, watching movies and TV shows, we've walked miles and miles in the white characters' shoes. You know what I mean? And we saw ourselves in them, and we tried to relate to them. I wanted to save the world. This blah blah blah. And now you finally get to see a movie, and the people, everybody in the cast looks like you, and you're just like, oh, you're in right away. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm in with my family, kicking it. And then you just see, the crazy thing is everybody's like, they see the debut, and they're like, this is nothing like the debut.
And shout out to the debut. Shout out to the debut. Shout out to Jinka High and John Castro. That's definitely historical for all of us in this room.
Exactly. I just actually rewatched the debut, and it's just it's still an amazing film with those like incredible points of Filipino values and how expectations are coming from the older generation. And those tropes are very much prevalent today and will be for the future because a lot of the older generation are passing on, and we're becoming the older generation. And we want to see that success kind of develop through the younger generation where they're going to pass on traditions, but they also are able to hold their own and become who they want to be and not have any restrictions because of the doors we all opened up for them. So, let's go ahead and break it down as far as like the upbringing in terms of how you guys decided to make that move to SoCal to pursue this incredible career of yours.
Right.
How did that come about? Did your parents just say, okay, we're going to move there because we want to see you guys succeed and follow your dreams? Or how did that all come about?
Actually, I mean, we were pretty young. Like, so in the Bay, we would start breakdancing in the 80s, right? At the golden, like the pioneering days of hip hop. And we just became hip hop kids. We were breakdance. We started breakdancing. Obviously, we're the street freaks, but you know,
Arianna was Smurf
popping fresh in the house. What's crazy is, you know, back in those days, obviously our parents were not hip hop heads or weren't breakdance. Like, they had no idea what we were doing, but somehow, and of course through their support too, just blind support of my mom.
My mom was the one
That she would take us out. We're breakdancing in the streets of San Francisco, had out making money on the weekends. We ended up going to all these breakdancing competitions. I think my mom said we won 33 breakdancing competitions.
Out of 33, we placed or won in 30 of them.
Yeah,
in a
something
year.
crazy like that. We ended up getting picked
I
up.
didn't even think I was that good, but I was just, I was
We ended up
3-4
getting picked
years
up by
old,
the San
sticking on
Francisco
my head.
Ballet Company, and we got scholarships to study ballet at the San Francisco Ballet Company.
Awesome.
We started getting paid to dance for, we'd opened up for Vanity at the Stone. We opened up for Ice-T. We did the Niners halftime show, A's third and seventh inning shows. So we were like hometown heroes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we got to the point where my parents were like, do you want to, be somewhat of a bigger fish in a smaller pond of San Francisco? Or do you want to try our luck, go jump into the ocean of L.A. and Hollywood? And I remember they came up to each of us in the living room one night and asked us individually, like, do you want to do this? Do you want? And I think collectively we all said, yeah, let's go. The mythology goes, we jumped into the van with like $100, and my dad gave us like 6 months or a year, 6 months to make something happen, and we
with my mother,
and we drove down, and that's kind of what happened. All that happened for me. All that happened before I was 10. We moved to LA when I was 10, so all that stuff was popping before. Dion was 8 or 9. Dar was like 11.
Mm-hmm. And your sister was?
Arianna was super young.
Wow. Super young. Wow.
Super young. And so
She came
What?
down a
What?
year later with my dad.
This
She
is
likes
not
to
true.
Debate this. She liked to debate this. but
There
she
was a
don't
few
even remember.
months. It was
She
a
don't
few
even
months
remember.
later. Everyone, it was just a.
But that
few
that
months.
story, like we came to LA to pursue our dreams. And it was such a wild thing because my parents weren't necessarily artists. They weren't
Dad was
artists
a
at all.
telephone, Mr.
My dad was a telephone man
Man.
at Pac Bell back in the day, and my mom was, the mother that kind of ran the household, and they just kind of supported what we were doing, and not even knowing exactly what we were doing. It's not like they didn't choreograph any of our routines. They didn't know really what we were doing, but they saw that we were getting
Well, she
success
sewed all of our
at what we were
outfits,
doing.
though.
She did sew
She
all of
sewed
our
She
all
did
of
sew
the
our outfits. She did make some outfits for
She
us.
drove us everywhere.
You still have those?
We don't.
The Street Freaks
We had
outfits?
some baggies. We used to rock these baggies.
Parachute pants.
You'll
Yeah.
see him. You see in the film.
You see him in the
stuff
film.
in the beginning and stuff like that. That's all those outfits my mom made.
Yeah, Jared's in one of those pictures too.
Yeah.
Breakdancing.
Yeah,
But
so-
the thing about it is when we came to LA in like 85, 86, my mother was taking 5 children down there to the entertainment business, and there was no blueprint. There was nobody on
No.
TV that really looked like us.
Nothing.
We had Ernie Reyes Jr. We had,
We did have Ernie. We
Ernie-
became friends with
shout
Ernie
out
later
to
on. Shout out to
Ernie,
Ernie. Shout out to Ernie Reyes Jr.
but it wasn't like a
was a
They
crazy
weren't
secret
looking
dream
for us.
yet, you know what I mean?
Nobody was
It
looking
was
for
really
us.
My mom's hustle and my mom's perseverance. I mean, literally, she drove us everywhere to anything,
To
and
any
she would
classes,
just wait.
any audition, and just
I
sit in
mean,
the car and
and
wait.
she and her foresight to be like, my kids want to do this. They need training. So she had us in training right away. So from then to when we were mid-20s, we were straight up in conservatory training how to do a craft. You know what I mean? She really understood that was what we needed to do, and then she really persevered and had us do it, stick to it. You know what I mean? We went to School of the Arts too through high school. I mean, it was a lot of. I mean, really, my dad went along for the ride. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it really was my mother's drive and my mother's foresight to really. Her whole thing was she grew up in a kind of harsh way. I mean, you know, we all have our immigrant stories, but it was a little rough for her growing up. So her childhood was rough. So her whole dream was like, I'm gonna give my kids everything that I didn't have.
Correct.
So from the beginning, she had us training and all these different things to keep us off the streets. Because, you know, Pittsburgh too, you could have went the other way. You know what I'm saying? So she had us training from the get. So when we went to LA, it was the same thing. It was like, I'm gonna have them in something, studying every day, doing their thing. Yeah. And that kind of work ethic worked for us and led us to produce what
I mean, we didn't even have like a regular child. I mean, I remember we couldn't play really sports, like high school sports, because there was always auditions and everything. One time, I remember in like 8th grade, I was like, yo, Mom, I gotta play in this football game. It's really important to all my friends, like blah, 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 blah. She's like, you have an audition. And I'm crying, like, I can't go. I want to do this. She's like, listen, I'll move you back up to Pittsburgh because we moved down here to do this. And if you tell me right now that you just want to be a regular kid and just, you know, just do the sports thing and just have fun and live your life, I'll move you back up there. I don't have a problem with that. I was like, oh, Ma, you really going to make me have a life decision right now at 12? But I was like...
That's how it was.
Sam, I'll tell you,
how it was.
You know,
Jared and Manny know because they were a part
Jared
of the
married
family.
part of the whole
They lived
family,
with
part of the
us,
whole
too, for a
thing.
little bit. That's the other thing. She took in anybody, cousins, friends. I mean, they took them in if they needed help, whatever. They all came and they could stay at the crib. They could stay at the house. They could do whatever. You know what I mean? So that they know.
But you know, Sam, like, because you're from our generation, like the New Edition song "Boys to Men."
Yeah.
That was our life. Giving up our teenage years in the efforts to support our careers was like, that song hit us super heavy because we were going through that at the time. Like, damn, this is really what we're going through.
Exactly. And for your parents to have that foresight to know that, hey, this is what I want my kids to experience and to see if it's going to play out, because your parents could have done exactly what my parents did. Just stay in Pittsburgh, go through the whole daily routine, raising kids, seeing what happens. If they have a great career, they become a doctor or a lawyer or just whatever. That was the common path. And for your parents to say to themselves, hey, we're going to take our kids and see if they could become something greater is truly an achievement to your parents to
and
have
there's nothing wrong with that path either,
there's
y'all.
nothing
like,
wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. The other path, going home and going back to Pittsburgh, I actually, you know, I trip out that my parents left all their friends, not left them, but like left, you know, that's their friends. Those are their compadres. Like, they grew up with all these folks, and to support their kids, they left their hometown and came to LA where they didn't know anybody. And so we go back all the time. Of course, our family's still there, our extended family's still there, so we still have everyone, but I'm always like tripping that, damn, you really gave up your lives, you know, your daily life and your social circles to kind of support us, which is really big. But but the beautiful thing is, and we talk about this in interviews, like, we went home, so we shot in Pittsburgh, California, where we're from, and where Sam's from, and so it's a very unique experience for any artist to get to go home.
Yep.
And go home in this way was crazy because you know, you leave Pittsburgh, California, or you leave, you know, everyone in Hollywood has left wherever they're from. Any, name it, city, country in the world, to go to
South
Hollywood.
Dakota.
Right, to follow their dreams, and you're out there and you're all alone, and it just feels like you against the world, right? So I was fortunate to have my family, but when we went back to Pittsburgh to shoot this film, the whole family came out, the whole community came out, extras in the film just showing up, food, and really there. And what you realize is, even though you're out there in the world, out there in Hollywood, and you feel like it's you against the world and you're all alone, all the people you left behind, they're actually there. They've been with us for 35 years. Like, all these folks have been pulling for me and my family for 35 years and continue to. And they're a part of our, you know, it was lovely to kind of just come back home and make it full circle and let them know you've been a part of this story this whole time. It's really cathartic, like Dion said earlier, and emotional shooting in Pittsburgh and having my uncles and aunts just come to the set on nights to just stand behind camera to see what we've been doing, you know, for the last 30 years in Hollywood. Like, how does this work? How do you guys work? How do you make a movie? And it was really great to share the experience with them.
That's awesome. God, do a little applause for that.
Taking a lot of applause.
Hey, man.
I'm going to give you a little applause. Do y'all see the button? Now I know where it's at.
So, obviously, it was never a smooth sailing situation in terms of being able to get roles and being able to stabilize yourself. Let's just go down the list as far as each of you guys talking about, like, say, there was a particular role or something that you really wanted to have, but because of certain, I would say, politics, you weren't able to get it. Is there anything that you'd like to share as far as that sort of experience is concerned?
It's crazy. You gotta have a short memory.
I
in this
really
town.
wanted this role in this really big movie called. The character's name was Rufio, but some other guy got it.
No, I mean the reality, Sam, is like this industry. We audition for stuff, weekly, monthly. There's so many things. You almost can't dwell on anything
you can't remember those.
You can't remember if you think too much of the stuff you lost, you would be in depression.
Right.
24/7.
It's almost like athlete. You got to let that go.
Exactly.
Right. You gotta let that
go. Yes.
But is there anything that really stands out? Like, oh shoot, I could have been in the Matrix or in a Marvel film.
No, we auditioned for all that. I've auditioned for all. I mean, you can't say a film for 20 years. I'd be like, oh, I auditioned. I met the directors of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you can't think of it.
Right.
Because it's too crazy. We have, even now as I'm producing and directing, the reason why you book the film or not book the film, or we hire an actor or not hire an actor, is most of the time it's not even on them. At a certain time, at a certain group of actors, all the actors could do the role, hands down. There's you're in the final callback and you're looking around the room like, oh, these are all the homies. Everyone can do it. It's just how they want the role to be done, how they fit into the puzzle that the directors and producers are putting together. Sometimes you fit in the puzzle, sometimes you don't. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes, we all have friends or whatnot. We've all been in the process like, oh, if I was only in that, I could have had that person's career. Maybe not. That's not how it works. You could have been in that film. You had a whole different outcome to what it is. It's like we do have a saying in our family, and Emily Cho says, who's Jarek's wife, you get what you get and you don't get upset.
There you go.
That's what happens, and and we just mash forward in this industry.
I mean, being of Filipino descent, some of the larger roles we're not auditioning for. You know what I mean? Actually, funny enough, like I always say that I didn't really realize I was Filipino. Like not realize I was Filipino, but realize I was different than everybody else till I got in the industry, and they're like, no, you can't be the boyfriend of the lead girl. Right. You got to be the smart Asian kid. First of all, I ain't a smart Asian kid. You know what I mean? I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'm like, that's not my role.
In your own way.
I always try to play those roles differently, and they were like, no, we really want the nerdy kid. And so, like, the industry, thrusts that upon you of, like, what you should be, what lane you should stay in. So, as we got older and like, with this, we're like, fuck that. Can I say that?
Yes.
We're going to build our own pathway, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I mean, that's part of our careers, which we've been lucky to do, is break those stereotypes of what it is to be Asian American. You know what I mean? Even way back from the debut, I mean, that was a big thing about me playing a Gusto. I was like, I want to play, I want to like, we grew up in the neighborhood. Like, these people are real people.
Dude, you killed that role.
There's a reason why people are hard. I mean, we're not a monolith. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's people who who are wanting to be white or whatever. There's people who are real ass Filipino and just want to represent. And there's people who are on the other side. You know what I'm saying? We're everything. You know what I mean? And so being able, we've been lucky to be able to really play these roles, because when we first got to Hollywood, they didn't even know what the hell a Filipino was. You know what I'm saying? We're auditioning for things for Chinese. They write Asian generic, whatever, and they're really thinking Chinese, Japanese looking dude, that's whatever. So we go in the thing, and they're like, what's this Mexican doing in the lobby? You know what I mean? So we played a lot of Latinos as well, which is cool, because we have that in our culture too. You know what I mean? But so, and that goes back to our movie too. It's like the continuing the education that, four Asian American dudes can be completely different and be in a film, and you can delineate personalities from each one, instead of just saying, that's the Asian in the film and that's where he goes. You know what I mean? So that's been a great thing that we've been able to do.
Hit you with a hand clap. Hit him with the hand clap.
Love it.
I mean, the other thing that with this film too, which is lovely, and that me and Dante are lucky to have happen, because because Arianna came in to help and write, is the Pinays that come to the thing. They're always, you can talk about the female role, because it is called Fabulous Filipino Brothers, but the women we do thanks a lot to Arianna. give a lot of love to the females too. So
honor the female energy and voice in the community.
You better do applause for her.
Say something, and
I'll just give some preparatory applause.
As in addition to everything that's being said, our upbringing and our culture, and the specificity of this story with these brothers and how they wrote it and how they catered it to their roles and the nuances of brotherhood and culture within that. Is so specific and so real, and my brothers are such phenomenal, studied, seasoned artists that never had a chance, some more than others, to really flex what they know. And this was a project for that, and a love letter to our people. And in that, them knowing each other so well and so intricately, I realize that they don't know women that well. And so intricate.
Damn,
don't know how to write. Don't know how to write. Need help.
Ooh.
They need
That's a Johnny Carson.
Well, it's not that. Yeah, there's no. I shouldn't say that you don't know women, but you know women from your perspective. But coming from the other perspective and speaking from that voice, was questionable.
We definitely knew
was questionable.
our limitations on that. That's why we had to bring you.
And also, I mean, it was just a joy to write too, because as we were saying, like, it's inspired by a lot of our true stories in our lives, and in some ways, the movie wrote itself because we've lived this long, and the lives that led us to even be born lived, right? So in some ways, it wrote itself, and it was really a matter of taking this large canvas or rock and chipping away at it and finding the pieces. And that's where, you know, me and Dion come in, and we're like fine combing things and making sure things are just polished and give it and done right, you know.
Fine comb. We wrote a lot.
Yeah, no, we did write a lot. We rewrote a lot. But also, I mean, then there's
collaborative.
There was a collaboration, but the stories that we're writing, but then also like we're paying homage to our past stories that have been in our lives, but also like 2.0 because it's in modern day, right? You know, and really trying to figure out what the voices of this day and age, Panay's and these dudes, and how those stories can be navigated. It was really cool, and a lot of our heart went into it. I mean, I tell people, like, I'm a single mom of 2, and I'm not giving any spoilers, but putting all of ourselves, past voices from our ancestors and our lineage, but also our present day selves into this work. It was really a crazy experience.
There you go. I got to do this. I have to.
Give us some time
because
shout out to Manny G Go Big 17 out there, giving shout out to 13607 and a half, and mom and dad who are also film. Auntie, he's Auntie Uncle Dale, who is his artistic parents. Shout out to my parents in the movie. Shout out to Joanna. What's up? Shout out to Gabe Basco in the house.
That's a cousin.
That's right.
Because he's also in the house. Gabe and that Basco clan is in the house. Linnea and
he wrote some songs for the
and
movie.
Dom. They wrote songs for the film. So it really was a family affair. You know, this is I think this is my 8th film I produced over the years, and with my directorial debut, because I wanted to tell this story, it was very important to me I had to bring the family in, because it's like everyone says, it's a very personal story to our family. So it's like, it just was very important to kind of like bring everybody in to be a part of it. It's very sensitive material. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It was just going to make this a family experience. And it was been an amazing experience. And everyone in the family that got involved, it's been just like really one of those village. Every film is a minor miracle to make, and it's a village to make. But to bring the family together to do this one was really a special experience for sure.
Got to do that. Now, because it's your directorial debut, obviously there's like a vision of how you want things framed and how things are going to transition. With your brothers and your sister, did they have any input in the production editing, or was it just solely you?
No, there's around, like, again, it's always a team affair. Darion and Dion produce, the producers on the film, with us and the rest of our producing team, Ron Erickson and myself. And so we spent a lot of time.
Rome
Diggs in the house.
Shout out to Andrea Walter.
Andrea Walter, who's actually from Vegas, or not from Vegas, but she lived in Vegas. She's from the Philippines originally, but she's our DP, director of photography, and she, it's a village. Everyone's involved in it, and as a director, you just kind of, you're kind of steering the ship as it goes, and you may have the final say, but everyone's input is definitely involved in kind of creating what ultimately comes out. So a lot of part of directing
is casting too.
Yeah.
When it comes to putting it on screen, you know what I mean? Because Dante, like every other director, you got to cast who fit the part, and then you kind of got to let them bring life to it.
Right.
Fortunately, we all wrote these roles, and if you recasted me, I would have never spoke to you.
No. Now this is a unique experience where we got to write roles specifically for each actor, especially the brothers, and really highlight the strengths and what they can do, which at sometimes the industry has not really let them do to the fullest extent, and then push each other. Really fun to write for each other, and kind of, we know each other so well, we know what we're stealing from in other parts of our life, whether it be personal or professional, because we've all seen each other do nearly every performance we've ever done in our lives. So the shorthand conversations, like in the play we did this, in that scene we did that, we want to do that in that scene. So it was a really fascinating way to work, and it's one of those things that I'm very fortunate as a first-time director to have a cast that's really amazing actors, but also to have the history that we can really. There's a lot of levels that we can kind of go to, and actually within the time frame and the budget that we had, it really sped up the process of how to make this movie.
Gotcha.
And you casted the women really great too in the film.
Also, we knew all the women except for Lisa Lapira, and shout out to Lisa Lapira, but shout out to Cheryl Tsai and shout out to Crystal Kwan, who are part of our our actors troupe that we grew up with. Shout out to Laura Gallagher, Laura G. So and bringing those women in, they really held it down for sure.
Exactly.
Solen Youssef, of course.
And what about this woman right here? And shout out to
Arianna Basco.
Yeah. I had the privilege to be able to see the film, so I know exactly what you guys are talking about in terms of the women being involved. And how did that come about? Because I believe, who was the one with Dar?
Lisa Lapira.
Yeah, because she was in Fast and the Furious, right?
She was in. Was she in Fast and
Furious? Yeah, she had a role.
In Fast and Furious,
she's on a show right now.
Equalizer.
Equalizer. But I first saw her in the Crazy Stupid Love.
Like she works all the time.
She's a beast.
Actress too, so she does Broadway and stuff.
Shout out to Lisa.
Shout out to Lisa, and also giving us another vibe.
She's like, yo, Filipinos back east are totally different from the California ones. You know what I mean? Like she didn't grow up in the community that we grew up in the Philams or whatever like that. Like they're doing their thing out there, but it wasn't. She's like, the community's strong, but it wasn't like it is on the West Coast. And we were like, it was just an interesting conversation to have that and have her perspective on it. So when she is doing her scenes, there's a lot of real wonderment in her eyes, and and I'm like, yeah, but it's like that back east, and she's like, not really. It's interesting. So,
yeah, but it's great.
I'm fascinated to go back to continue our tour to go out there.
And again, like with this film, a lot of people connect this film. I'd love to see a perspective from the East Coast Filipinos and what that culture's like.
Take it out there and see.
But see our film, but also the East Coast filmmakers, Filipino filmmakers, do their story, and again, we could see us as a community. Again, we're not a monolith. What are the differences? What are the similarities? What are the differences? How's it all vibing?
Right. That's the thing. It's different in different areas of the world as far as how Filipinos are perceived and the communities within it. So I'm kind of excited to have you guys do that East Coast tour and kind of see how that's going to develop.
Yeah. Shout out to Virginia Beach. Shout out to Jersey. We're going to be there soon. Actually, on the tour, we have Jersey set up. We have Virginia Beach.
New York?
Jersey's New York. Jersey's going to be New York.
We're looking at Philly, possibly.
We're looking at possibly DMC. Well, DMC, we're definitely trying to hit DMC.
We're looking at Toronto.
DMV. I'm sorry. I said DMC.
Run DMC. They coming out.
The DMV.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are watching and you want to engage, please type something in the chat, and Dante here will be able to answer any questions or any insights that you may have as we roll into this interview. So, the movie, to me, it really, really resonates, obviously, because, number one, coming from Pittsburgh, number two, being Filipino, but also just the way the story is told. And as far as how everything kind of developed, was it pretty much what the story you wanted to tell, Dante, or did it kind of like change as the movie developed? Like, okay, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to cut to this. How did that all come about, and who gave that sort of input?
No, I mean, actually, as you develop things, it takes a long time to develop things. But as far as how the film, I've pretty much had the film in my head for many years. I think me and Darion talked about the first vignette years ago, where I kind of developed that one, and then
I was there too.
Dion,
Leave me out.
Dion was there.
The process too at the beginning too.
No, we've all been developing. It's one of those projects again that's really close to the vest. So not knowing exactly the how was it all going to turn out, but as far as the vignettes and how it was going to go, I kind of had that planned out for a while. So it did kind of turn out close to how I envisioned it, which is great.
That's great.
It's very, it's a very fascinating time in life, and I was talking about this with my producing partner, to talk about things and to be able to be at a point in your life where you can kind of create things and they actually manifest tangibly is really crazy. The movie, this tour, we talked about going on this tour.
But really, like, Arianna's input in it kind of gets everything together, weaves the quilt together, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You have all these little pieces, but you need that sewing kit to make it all come together and like an actual thing. So
that's cool. That's cool. And you guys, if you've seen the film, please do not spoil it in the chat at all. Let's let the people that are going to be watching it moving forward experience it.
Right.
Yeah.
You can pre-order the film. Pre-order the film right now on Apple TV. Go check out Fabulous Filipino Bros, and it'll be able to be streamable. February 8th, we'll be doing a big launch February 8th. There's a big party in LA. Not a party, but a big screening in February 8th where we're going to have some performers.
We're also coming out to Cerritos,
Riverside,
San Diego,
and then the East Coast dates. And then we're going to end in Hawaii for a big show the last weekend of February. And then that show also going to have artists. I think it's not 100% confirmed, but I'm just like teasing out. Some artists from the soundtrack will be performing at the show, so it's gonna be a fun show and a fun way to kind of close the whole tour.
AJ.
Yep. Well, I'm not fully, but I do want to talk about the music because the music also in filmmaking is such a big part of the film and the vibe of the film. And again, it's about putting on the next generation. My cousin Gabe Basco and the Bascos are on the
Phase G.
Phase G's in the house. He's in
Linnea,
the film
Dom.
with original music with Linnea and him and Dom, our cousins. Of course, AJ Raphael, who's like our little brother. This is the first time we got the score, and he's such a brilliant musician. I know there's a lot of AJ Raphael fans out there, so having the opportunity to score your first film, and I'm sure he's going to do many more after this because he's just so talented. Our
Ruby
producer.
Ibarra.
What's up?
Ruby Ibarra.
Well, Ruby Ibarra in the film, which you guys are fans of. Ruby Ibarra is on the film. JR in the Philippines, who's now here, the king of R&B in the Philippines is in the album. I mean, it's on the Aphrodisiac was a.
But don't forget about the main.
Oh, of course, I can't forget about our executive producer Ron Erickson. He has a project called Happy Sad Face, which he produced on its own, and then when we listened to it, just so happened that we were doing this and he was finishing that at the same time, and a lot of those songs helped create the soundtrack Happy Sad Face. So again, there's all these very just kind of like really
multi-layers to everything.
Yeah, coincidences that happen, and it's the right place, right time for all the things to kind of come together in the right
Alignment.
way.
Alignment is
there
the
you go.
word.
Surround yourself with the right people and like people on the same journey who you believe in as artists too. It just happens to work out. You know what I mean? Like, you hang out with people like, oh, I love you as a rapper, whatever. Next thing you know, you guys are on a track together.
Bingo.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alignment.
That's how the universe connects. It's all about manifesting and being able to be at the right place at the right time for the right reasons.
Also, I graced the mic. I got back on the mic for an original track for the movie. You
Oh.
got to watch to the end of the movie. You can catch a little original Dante Basco track produced by Happy Sad Face. That's me. Yeah.
That's you. Okay. Got to rewatch it now.
Rewatch it. Check out the titles, the credit sequence. Catch a new track. Although Ron, we're gonna drop the playlist sometime on Spotify.
Spotify, I like it.
The film.
February
So
8th,
February 8th,
February
look
8th,
on
dropping the soundtrack too.
Spotify. There's gonna be a soundtrack playlist of the whole film out there. So check that out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You had mentioned Cerritos. A lot of people kind of compare Cerritos to Daly City. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah, in a way.
We live there. We lived there for a couple of years.
It's
All
a
right.
hub. It's a hub. It's definitely one of the meccas.
It's definitely a mecca. We grew up there. We went to junior high there. A lot of friends out
A lot
there.
of Filipino creativity out there. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
So shout out to Cerritos. I mean, an incredible hip hop scene, incredible
Eric
fashion
graduated
scene.
from Cerritos High.
Emil, homies in Cerritos,
Crooks and Castles.
Crooks and Castles.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole
the DJ
set out
crews
there.
out there. Yeah, sets,
It's
whatever.
definitely. I mean, like it's a mecca like Daly City, but we. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we know Daly City because we went to Daly City, but we weren't like from Daly City. So for us, that was all the city to us. And Cerritos is more like the suburbs and has a different vibe, but a whole their own kind of swag. We were there. We were Cerritos for a long time, and Pittsburgh again has a different. Pittsburgh's cutty. Like we're a little bit in the. I don't know if you call that a suburb. I don't know what you call Pittsburgh. What do you call it?
It's like in between everything.
It's in between.
Yeah. It's crazy. We got a question that's in the chat, Rock Rage Pro. What was it like going back to Pittsburgh?
It was beautiful. I'd spoken a little bit before. You guys want to talk on it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was emotional seeing all these faces just popping back up. We filmed at the Mecca restaurant.
Shouts out to the Mecca.
Shout out to the Mecca.
You know, we shot.
I need some of that bean dip right now.
We shot in the marina. We shot at the Phil Am. We shot. Well, so we based this film, like all the family stuff, on our actual grandmother's house, or our house and our grandmother's house that we grew up in.
And Gabe's house, right?
And Gabe's house, like the whole family had lived.
Yeah, Gabe's
there
house was our house.
at
We were all the
some-
same house.
At some
Yeah.
point, but then we lost the house after our grandparents passed. And we were like, man, we wrote it with all the scenes, the kids on the stairs and blah, 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 blah. But it's crazy about Pittsburgh is like, there's like 5 different homes.
Yeah,
It's like
the
a track
Cinos.
house.
The
So
Cinos
we
built all
actually
those
found a
houses out
family
there.
friend that had the exact same home.
Shout out to Tita
So
Beverly.
the Beverly.
The Uzmans. Shout out to the
Uzmans.
Uzmans.
The Uzmans, they let us shoot in their house, and like
It's the
everybody
same
who knows
layout.
Pittsburgh is like, yo, that's grandma's house. I know that house, and we're like, it's not her house, but yes, but it's crazy because it brings all the feelings. Like we have people who just love the movie, and then we have people who know Pittsburgh.
Right. Yeah. The
then, you know.
community who know our family out there think that's the house because they all lived in that. They all came to that house for
They all partied in
the
that
family
house,
jams. The parties. I mean,
Played
that
mahjong.
Bosco hub.
Yeah.
Was the
And it
Bosco
definitely
hub,
helped
yeah.
us as a production and actors get back into it too, because like we're in there, we're like, man, I just want to pull out a guitar and start singing with everybody. You know what I mean?
Oh
That's
my
what we
gosh! I wish you guys could come back here after the movie comes out so I could just tap on
We could
certain
talk
scenes
more, I know.
because I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some really unique scenes in there.
Yeah.
And some of them were shot really well in terms of like just the way it just follows. And I love how you guys did that.
Again, shout out to Andrea Walter, who's our director of photography, and she's really amazing, and I love working with her. I got to produce her first film that she directed called Empty by Design, which we did before this, so she came and did my film. But it was great to go there and scout as a film director and look at the city you grew up in and look at it artistically as far as what images you want to see. You know, we framed up a lot of things like I want it to look like, you know, the restaurant, this street, hold on a second, this bridge, we got to get this bridge, hold on a second, the church right here, let's go in front. Like the memories you have of childhood and where it looks now and talking with the DP like, well, we got to get a shot of that. We got to get a shot of that. And so it was really fascinating. It's like kind of going through childhood memories and seeing what you can put on wax. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And you guys out there, the viewers, please support this movie because it's definitely an incredible cinematic experience. Let's go ahead and touch on a few things as far as like what your future goals are in terms of after this movie. People are talking about the debut too. Is there actual
A lot of murmurs going on about that.
touch on that because there could be a story connected with your character.
I love the debut. Like I said, it's a part of all of our history, my history, of course. And I'm still connected to John Castro and Gene Cahayan, and the reality is we've talked about the debut too for years. Some of years, but it comes up every few years. And so, like all of filmmaking, it's like the right time, the right story, the right people, the right financing coming at the right time. I feel like it could be back. It's in whenever it comes up in conversation, we're like close to maybe something happening, right? But everything is ebbs and flows and everything, but it's back up again. Mm-hmm. It's something, especially with the just the landscape of how Hollywood is right now.
Yeah.
It's a good time for us to, there's already a built-in audience for it and companies like that. So we might get another shot to do something as far as to progress that story along and see where that ends up. I think we'd all be very interested in seeing what story that would be.
I agree. And I'm going to vouch, ladies and gentlemen, I want to roll in the film.
Hey.
Somehow, some way.
But on the future tip, like, we're knee deep in this release, and again, this is my first film that I'm releasing as a director, so literally we're touring the country. We're like road dogging, like
big time, ladies
crazy,
and gentlemen.
And just trying to promote and get everybody to understand this is a very important film to us, and I love this film. I want people to watch the film and fall in love with it also, and the importance of our voice, especially as the Filipino community in America, to download this project, to support this project. Yes, it'll help us and our film out, but also it's going to help the next generation of filmmakers. The success of a film like this in any way, shape, or form is going to help future budgets for future films that I'm creating, but also the future filmmakers that are out there. And let me tell you, there's so many young Filipino directors, writers, and actors that are coming up that are amazing, and I can't wait to see the things they do. So us as a community, it's like, support these films.
We got to show Hollywood and the powers that be that we are a viable community. We could sell tickets. Because it's all, for them, it's all dollars and cents. You know what I mean? So if we could make some noise, they got to hear us.
Right. And like that first week, it's like the opening weekend. Like when it jumps out February 8th, let's download the film. You can download it right now. All the pre-orders that go out right now are going to count to that opening day hit numbers. So everyone download the film now, pre-order the film. So on the 8th, we hit them hard, and it's really going to help with all the algorithms of us moving forward. And, that's really going to help not only us as our film, the Fabulous Filipino Brothers, but the next filmmakers coming up. And then beyond this film, we're actually, when we get back, we're all finishing another film with a director, Francis De La Torre, another Filipino director who's amazing. A film, I guess right now, it's called The Trade.
Yeah,
it's untitled, but maybe called Historical Filipino Town, which is more of a...
Hi-Fi.
Hi-Fi. So I wouldn't say it's a gangster film, but it's
a crime drama.
It's a crime drama film with all the brothers in it.
Okay.
So we're finishing that up in March. I'm supposed to be doing a film in New York with a bunch of Filipinos in New York. Jet Tolentino out there, a rom-com called Asian Persuasion. So I'm looking forward to do it. They announced the cast, me and a bunch of other folks. What do you call who? Paolo Montalban's going to be in the film. Gonzaga from the Philippines. I haven't met her yet. One of the actresses from the Philippines.
Okay.
Tony Gonzaga.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony Gonzaga. So I look forward to meeting her and doing this film. And then there's other projects. Everyone got things popping off.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate, luckily enough, like during the quarantine, I shot 2 films here in Las Vegas. So
Here?
One just came out last
Sicario.
month, American Sicario with Danny Trejo. It's like a cartel movie. They got a Filipino in the cartel. And then I just finished up another movie with Jamie Kennedy called Don't Suck, which is a comedy, like a road trip comedy movie. And then my buddy Roger Collins was directed both of those, and so he blessed me with the opportunity to work on those. So I've been in Vegas, a couple times during this quarantine.
Well, there you go, man. You guys stop on by a little bit more often.
Yeah, I
go
know.
hang out. Go to.
It was quarantine. I mean, it was COVID. I didn't want to see nobody.
Yeah, I feel you.
I went to the set and then I played golf if I had a day off.
There you go. There you go. Stay safe.
Stay safe, bro.
So,
Dar, what you got coming up, Dar? Dar, just finished a few things.
Yeah, I just finished a few things. Yeah, I got. Well, obviously, did you see Lumpia with a Vengeance? Lumpia 2 with a Vengeance.
Actually, had a cameo in it.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Word up. So that movie, check that out, y'all, if you haven't seen it. Also, that goes back to our debut roots because Patricio came out of the debut too. So all that whole team, a lot of them are the same creative team that did the debut. So that film, like they said, the hi-fi stuff. I did a film with a great young filmmaker named Cole Bacani that he actually has a film called Everything Stays. It's a short, but it's a beautiful little emotional film that everybody should see. You guys could look that up. But he's and we did a short together that turned out really good, and he's working on the feature, so we're probably gonna try to shoot that next year too. And then we're working on some stuff. We're just writing and creating.
Working on some developing possible options of spin-offs or thoughts post Fabulous Filipino Brothers. but also right before Filipino Brothers, I had directed my directorial short debut called Glimmer, and it did the film festival circuit and got some awards.
Arianna runs an arts organization.
I run an arts organization called Palms Up Academy, out of LA, but we're also on the internets. But we do a lot of work, activism work. We work with specifically a school, Los Angeles College Prep Academy, which focuses on decolonization. So we just did an event with Dwight Howard and the Lakers down south, and do a lot of work. I mean, SIPA is also our partner, Search to Involve Filipino Americans, which operates out of Hi-Fi. I'm very embedded in the Hi-Fi community in Los Angeles, from grassroots efforts to productions and just directing shows and plays for artists down south.
Yeah, she came on as a producer too on the new one, the new film that we're just kind of
on the Untitled.
Yeah, it's Untitled.
Possibly Hi-Fi.
Filipino crime drama. Let's go.
Yeah, so the hustle continues. People ask, Joanna's asking, how about like the Cleaning Lady TV show? I'd love to see you on there. There's so many, the Cleaning Lady, there's so many other projects out there where Filipinos are more prominent in the storylines, and it's really great. Like even like Spider-Man coming out, it felt like we were in an alternate universe watching a Marvel film, and they're speaking Tagalog in the film. And
that was a trip.
It's a trip. I mean, the world's changing, and like I said before, Filipinos, I mean Asians in general, are the highest profile we've been in the history of Hollywood. But we have to continue to put our stories out there. This is us putting our stories and adding to our stories in the pot of this movement going on.
We're
to
killing,
be a part of the movement.
We're killing the music game, like Olivia Rodrigo, Bruno Mars, all this Sweetie.
And I'm looking forward to some more
Ella J.
too.
Basco.
I know Ella J. Bosco's dropping music.
Ruby, like, so we want to take over the film side. We want to help try to, represent on the film end.
Add to it, and I always tell people it's especially our community, it's our time. It's our time to make movies.
Right.
But when I say it's our time to make movies, it's not just our time as an artist, right? It's our time as a community to make movies. We have to make the films. The community has to support the films, go watch the films, talk about the films, spread the news. This is the relationship, what's going on, and us as a community, we continue to keep making films, keep supporting films, and not just films, music, art.
I agree.
Clothing designs, it's all
chefs, the food,
the chef, the
Shout
food.
out to Chef Val at Yamashiro's.
Yeah, food is big. Yeah, man. I mean, the food,
the restaurants, Filipino food is having its time and its shine right now. And again, go support the restaurants. Go. I know it's not like your mom's. I know that's not exactly how your grandma makes it. This is different. It's a different kind of style, but still great. You know what I'm saying? People are like, I ain't going there because it's not like my mom. And I've said that too, but it's not right.
But now it's changed.
Go there.
It's different now.
It's fascinating.
Chefs, man.
I love seeing our food at restaurants, and I love seeing different chefs take on on lechon, on sinigang. You're like, oh, I never had it like that. That's crazy.
Well, at the new casino resort called Resorts World, they have a Filipino restaurant there. And that's authentic. It's like 2 or 3 dishes, but pretty much it's representing us, the community, and that's just another step, another layer to add to the development of our culture.
Yeah, we're here. We ain't going nowhere. We're here. It's our turn. It's our time to
fabric of this country
it's our time to let it be known that we're here. And our stories and our culture matters. It's beautiful, and it's no better or worse than any other culture. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
We celebrate a lot of different cultures. We continue to celebrate the cultures, and it's time to celebrate our culture also and have other people celebrate our culture.
Perfect. So to close out, let's go ahead and do some shouts and plugs of social media. Who wants to go first?
Well, Darion's social media is amazing. If you check out Darion at Darion Basco on IG, you'll see nothing, but you can say hi to him. You can tag him in some stuff.
He posts nothing.
No,
at Palms Up Academy or at Palms Up Academy or at Arianna Basco with 2. Someone has my name out there. Give it up. At Arianna Basco __.
Well, I have the same name.
I'm gonna write her personally.
Yeah, you send her DM. Say, hey, can I get my name?
Hey, can I,
Is that possible?
And then I'm on Instagram at Dionisio Basco. Yeah, I really don't do Facebook. I do have a Facebook, but
You have a social media conversation? Drop the handle, dog.
They're not talking about Facebook. They're talking about
Dionisio Basco.
And of course, I'm at Dante
At Kumu.
Basco.
Oh yeah, we also joined.
Oh yeah, Kumu. Talk about the Kumu situation.
we just started a Kumu.
You
We're
Kumu?
just
Yeah, I heard of that. Yeah, it's the app over in Philippines.
Yeah, you've
that's
done
really
it.
accurate.
Kuma's cool.
Yeah, yeah, we're
I
just
did it to
getting
watch
into
a
it.
few things. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been
Is it-
posting some of our Q&As.
Is it cool?
It's
It's
huge in the
huge. It's
Philippines.
outscaling ABS out there.
Okay. Okay.
And
The
it's
viewership
growing.
is crazy.
And it's
I gotta
growing
tap
in the
into that.
Phil-Am.
Tap
It's
into it.
growing in the
It's
Phil-Am
Kumu
community.
Kumu Stika. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yes, Kumu.
Yeah.
So
Connection.
at,
I'm just trying to get on TikTok right now. So
Yeah.
I'm not
so
in it
many
either.
damn
at
apps.
Kumu, we
Filipino
are.
owned and ran company.
So if you're on Kumu, tune into Basco Family at Basco Family. And in fact, we have been doing, and I think it's archived on Kumu, but we've been doing our Q&As as we've been on tour. So we've done almost every single Q&A, which is really, really cool. And I believe we're going to be doing it tonight too.
Or it's at fabfilipinobros.com.
Yeah,
On
definitely
Instagram.
follow our Instagram at Fab Filipino Bros, and then mine is at Dante Basco, but our film is at Fab Filipino Bros. The hashtag is Fab Filipino Tour, and then I have a TikTok at Dante. You can check out my TikTok.
Just at Dante?
Just at Dante. They just hit me with at Dante.
Dang.
Wow,
like-
that's an exclusive
I
one.
was like, damn. He's like, do you want to add Dante? I'm like, yeah, I do actually. That's good.
Simplified.
But Joanna Castillo says, thank you guys watching from school with all her students. Shout out
There
to
you
the
go.
students.
Exactly. Inspiration.
Shout out to all the students out there. Yeah, so we're working, man. We're working. This movie is important. Like, you guys, this movie has been it's just been a lot of work and a crazy passion
yes.
for
Please
all
watch
of
it.
us. Please watch it.
Get in touch with us. Let's discuss. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
let's get in touch. We
let's
want to
keep the
share it with you
conversation
guys. We
going.
want everyone to see it. It's the kind of film that we can screen forever, like the debut, and we can go in and we have like real conversations about it. And it's about this film, but it's also about inspiring the next generation to tell our stories, to tell your story. We're at a place in our career over 30 plus years. It's like it's also about passing it on to the next generation. It's about passing it on to who's next. And so, by no means are we going to stop working, but there is space, and now it's your time. I always talk to young kids today. It's like, yo, it's your time. Do you understand? Time is the essence. It's like when it's hot for y'all, it's time to strike now.
Do it. Don't,
And there's no more
don't-
excuses.
Don't
Everybody
wait
got a
for
phone.
permission from anybody. Do it. Tell
There you
your
go.
Story, y'all.
Start
Tell your
writing,
story.
just jotting stuff down.
And spread the word.
and, you know,
Spread the word. Download the movie. Tell 5 friends to download the film, and let's talk about it. You know.
Well said. Well said. And I mean, you guys are an inspiration to all of us, even the older generation, because you guys are making your dreams come true. And
We become the older generation right in front of their eyes right now, Sam. We become
exactly.
the older
Don't
generation.
remind me. I just had a birthday.
Dion was in Hawaii. Someone called him uncle. He was like, damn, someone just called me uncle.
yeah,
Exactly.
First time I was like, hey, uncle, you gonna go? I was like, go ahead, youngster.
Oh my gosh, is that reality or what, guys?
It's great, though. It's great. We earned it. You know what I'm saying? We earned it.
Exactly. And we're making our stamp and our legacy so the younger generation could have something to look up to and
I
be
can't
inspired
wait.
by.
I can't wait to see what the younger generation puts together. I can't wait to work with the younger generation.
Exactly.
That's really, I mean, that's part of the deal, too. It's like we need y'all to rise because we want you to hire us. Also.
Well said. Well, Dar, R, D, and Dante, it's been a pleasure having you on the
Thanks for having
program.
us, Sam.
You're very
Thank you
welcome.
Thank you,
so
guys.
much.
Thanks for everyone tuned in.
Yeah, so definitely, what's the showing tonight? Break down the information.
Yo, if you're in Vegas or you have friends and family in Vegas, tell them we're going to be in town for a special in-person
6:30,
screening.
Come through at 6:30.
Come through at 6:30. It's 7 o'clock, but come through at 6:30. We'll be hanging out at the Regal Cinema.
Stadium. What is it exactly? Sam?
Village Square
Village.
Stadium. It's at 9400 West Sahara Avenue.
There it
Here in
is.
Vegas.
Don't come Filipino time.
Come early.
Don't
and
come
hang
Filipino
out.
time.
Come early and hang out.
And come, we're going to have a special Q&A afterwards. Be hanging out, talking to folks. We have merch. We have tour shirts. We have Fabulous Filipino shirts. So you can pick up one right there because I know they're sold out online. Can't get them online anymore because they're done. At least for now. But you can get them in person tonight.
Exclusive.
Exclusives.
Line up for that drop.
So come through. Tell your friends. We'll kind of all hang out and have a good time in Vegas.
Love it. So, you guys, thank you so much for
you.
coming out here to Vegas. It's been a pleasure, and this is going to be archived, guys, so you can rewatch it at any point and enjoy this exclusive interview here on the Slam Show. For myself and the entire community here, let the rhythm take you, and see you later. Peace.
Peace.